A venture-backed startup just sixed a Silicon Valley law firm on Adafruit. Let that sink in. Flux.ai, the cloud-based EDA platform that positions itself as the future of collaborative circuit design, apparently decided that the best way to handle a dispute with one of the most beloved companies in open-source hardware was to have Fenwick fire off a demand letter. Fenwick, the firm that represents half the unicorns in San Francisco, against a company that teaches kids to solder. In my analysis, this is not a proportional response. This is a message, and the message is not for Adafruit. It is for every small maker business, every open-source contributor, and every independent hardware designer who might dare to overlap with whatever Flux.ai considers its territory. This is what happens when VC money meets community-built ecosystems. The lawyers arrive before the product even wins. Let me walk you through 3 reasons this matters more than one demand letter. First, the chilling effect. A demand letter from Fenwick is not a polite note. It is a legal instrument designed to force a response under threat of litigation. For a company like Adafruit, which operates transparently and publicly, this creates an asymmetric burden. Adafruit has to spend money on counsel, divert leadership attention, and weigh every public statement against legal risk. That is the whole point. You do not send Fenwick to start a conversation. You send Fenwick to end one. The inference here is straightforward. When a startup with venture backing deploys this kind of legal weight against a community pillar, it signals to every smaller player that stepping into the same design space could cost them everything. That is not competition. That is suppression. Second, look at the EDA tooling landscape. Flux.ai operates in a space alongside KiCad, EasyEDA, Altium, and a dozen other tools. The open-source hardware movement, which Adafruit has championed for over a decade, depends on interoperability, shared footprints, open libraries, and community-contributed designs. The moment legal claims start flying around schematic tools and design workflows, the entire collaborative layer that makes open hardware possible is at risk. Think about what happens to shared component libraries if companies start asserting proprietary claims over design patterns or integration methods. The latency between a legal threat and community self-censorship is terrifyingly short. People stop sharing. They stop publishing. The commons shrinks, and whoever has the most lawyers wins by default. Third, the timing appears strategic. Flux.ai has been pushing hard into browser-based collaborative PCB design, positioning itself as the future of hardware engineering. Adafruit, meanwhile, has been expanding its own tooling ecosystem and educational resources. The overlap is growing, but here is what bothers me. Instead of competing on features, on inference speed in their design rule checks, on the quality of their auto-routing algorithms, or on actual engineering merit, the first move appears to be legal. That tells you something about how confident they are in the product alone. If you are watching this and you build things, if you design boards, if you ship kits, if you care about the commons surviving contact with venture capital, then you already know why this channel exists. Subscribe, because nobody else is going to say this out loud. Now here is the counterargument, and I will give it a fair hearing. Maybe Flux.ai has a legitimate intellectual property concern. Maybe Adafruit crossed a line that genuinely infringes on something Flux.ai built and owns. Intellectual property law exists for a reason, and companies have every right to protect what they have created. That is a real argument, but here is why it falls apart. If the claim were clean and obvious, you would see a public explanation, not just a law firm letter. Legitimate IP disputes between good faith actors in the open source world get resolved through communication, through the community, through transparency. You send Fenwick when you want pressure, not clarity. The evidence, as it appears from the public record, suggests this is about leverage, not justice. So here is where we land. The open source hardware movement was built by people who gave away their schematics, their board files, their time. Companies like Adafruit turned that generosity into an ecosystem that benefits everyone, including Flux.ai, whose entire user base exists because the maker community normalized collaborative design. Now a VC-backed platform appears to be using legal infrastructure to carve out territory in a space it did not build. This is the pattern. It happens in software. It happens in AI with training data. And now it is happening in hardware. So tell me, should venture-backed startups be allowed to use legal muscle against open-source community leaders? Or is this the moment the maker world draws a line?